Être un bon traiteur, c'est être intransigeant sur la qualité. On ne fait du bon qu'avec le meilleur. C'est être impitoyable sur les recettes. Quand c'est bon, il n'y a rien à ajouter, rien à enlever. C'est être irréprochable sur le goût. Il faut prendre du plaisir pour en donner. Voilà, pour être un bon traiteur, il faut être intraitable.
Parfaitement intraitable.
Good morning and a very warm welcome back to the Autodromo Internacional de Algarve racing action here on the second day of this Ultimate Cup Series meeting. Is about to get underway with Trophy GT Sprint, the first race of the day. We will go into a little bit of a break after this race, but then the racing action will come thick and fast with the Ligier Formula Cup, the headline event of the day, the Trophy GT Endurance, as well as qualifying for the European Endurance Prototype Cup as well. As you can see, formation lap underway for this second race of the weekend for this mixed field of GT machinery. On pole position, it is Alexandre Gadouin in the number 25 Schumacher GP Lamborghini Super Trofeo, the car that won yesterday at the hands of Wilfried Casalbon, but now it's Gadouin taking the wheel. It's the second of the Schumacher GP Super Trofeos on the front row of the grid as well. Pierre Mathieu in the number 18 machine, then comes Olivier Morahan in the Kennel Racing Team Chevy Corvette GT3 car. Stefan Perrin in the Seb Lejeune Racing Triple Eight Porsche. He'll be out in the Kennel GT Endurance race later on today. That car at the hands of Lucas Taumann yesterday had a absolutely cracking battle with Wilfried Casalbon for the overall win. Fifth position on the grid is the number 73 Ferrari 296 Challenge from CMR, Patrick Michelier. His teammate in the third of the Super Trofeo cars, Eric Mouet, starts just behind him. And then the UCS4 battle is Lorenzo Monteiro, the nephew of former Grand Prix driver Thiago Monteiro, in the driving Porsche Cayman, the 981 version of that car, starting just ahead of his teammate Andrei Safiritos in 57, same car. And Pierre Aru rounds out the field in the number 64 Herrero Racing Audi R8 GT4 car. 2x2 formation, and Claire Cottingham joins me in the commentary box for the start of this race. Claire, we've got two Super Trofeos up at the front of the field. Great to see the Schumacher GP cars here with us this weekend, but good to just get some racing action underway here this morning.
Yeah, not just that, but we saw obviously them win yesterday, and we saw some good battling for the front, so I'm hoping to see much of the same in this field. And the temperature is a bit cooler today than it was yesterday, so probably a bit of a relief for the drivers, but I feel like we're about to go green flag racing, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. The temperatures were absolutely searing. They should rise throughout the day, but it is still at least a sort of comfortable morning here in the Algarve at the very least. Pace car peels off to driver's right. Now, there were a couple of drivers who were pinged for breaking the formation at the start of the race yesterday. They all seem to be a bit more well-behaved this time, going through the grid hatchings. We wait patiently for the 5 red lights to be extinguished to signal the start of the race. There they go. Green flag is waved, and the 2 Schumacher GP cars roar down towards the first corner at Primera. It's the pole sitter Alexandre Gadouin with the whole shot into the first corner, side by side for third, with Olivier Morahan just hanging on to third position ahead of Stéphane Perrin on the way into the corner, but on the exit the Porsche got a much better run through there and takes third position away from the Kennel Performance Oil CEO. So Olivier Morahan down to fourth position, and we see Eric Mouet hasn't had the best of starts. He's being hounded by Lorenzo Monteiro, who we saw out in this championship last year at the wheel of an SR&R run Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo. Shared that car with Lawrence Schofield, who went on to win the title.
Windy out there again. We were saying yesterday the wind caught up, and once again we can see it blowing across the circuit. And you were mentioning obviously it shouldn't cause too many issues here. You've got a face on.
Oh, just a big dive for second position from
they went behind the hills.
Perrin. Yeah, just as they were disappearing into the blind spot, Stéphane Perrin absolutely lunging on the inside into turn number 8 and catching Pierre Macchi sort of napping a little bit, I think, actually, and Olivier Morahan's not too far behind as well. But yes, quite a stiff breeze. Doesn't look quite as stiff as yesterday, though, I will say. The awnings around the circuit and the flags around here, they don't seem to be waving around like those big inflatable men outside of car dealerships quite as much as they did yesterday. So end of the first lap then, and it's Alexandre Gadouin with a 1.9 second lead over Stéphane Perrin, Pierre Macchi and Olivier Morahan in close proximity. Just saw Patrick Michelier at the back of that's Q as well. It does seem like it has been problems for Eric Mouet, because he has dropped to last, and he did bring that car into the pits yesterday after a spin, so I hope that's not a continuation of the same problems he had yesterday. Oh, hello, this is a big dive on the inside from Olivier Morahan, and he really had to get out of that one as they met the apex of the Tour of It hairpin. That is a big crunch point down there if you do get it wrong. Start of last year, I was here for a GT race and saw somebody lose their brakes entirely down there and wipe out about 3 cars, including the culprit's teammate, which would have made for a rather awkward debrief later on that day.
Some clean air then for front of the pack car 25 in UCS2, who seems to be, I would say at the moment, enjoying a nice morning drive in the Algarve, setting 2 purple sectors in the first and second car. 57 here is his 4th position. On 64 it is, and at the moment car 64 remains in front.
Yeah, that's the Pierre Herrero Audi at second position in UCS4.
Still going for it though, around the outside, not going to do it there.
These are our top 2 in the UCS4 Championship as well, our regular contenders. So I think this is pretty much championship battle that you're watching unfold here. But look, already the Super Trofeo is coming up to lap of those cars. And warning flag has gone out to Pierre Herrero for track limits at turn 4, so we can't do that too many times. See, Olivier Morahan has already recovered the time lost with that half-hearted move at Tour of It. The previous lap has another look on the inside, but close enough on this lap, but not giving up on the prospect of a 2nd overall podium this weekend. Finished 3rd overall yesterday. Rising back up the hill through the kink at the Craig Jones left-hander, top of the hill at Portimão. You can see why they call this the roller coaster circuit. Olivier Morin flashing the lights.
Where do you think is your favourite circuit?
I mean, this is right up there.
It's definitely
This is
top 5.
definitely top 5 for me. Yeah.
I was thinking this yesterday when I was walking along and I was talking to someone who'd never been to Portimão, and he was like, "What's it like there?" And I was like, "Do you know what? I've only been here twice in my life, and I fell in love with it the first time." Interesting racing line there. And I fell in love with it the first time I came here. And coming back, sometimes if you go back to a circuit again, you think, well, maybe it's going to lose its shine because it's not the first time you've been anymore. But coming back here again, I'm still just enamoured with it as I was the first time I came here.
It is fantastic. I think this is my 5th time here, and it's still just, it's always one of those ones I'm like, yes, I know I'm going back to Portimão this year, because it is in a fantastic part of the world. Hey, that is the second time that Pierre Mathieu has chopped across the front of Olivier Morin's Chevy.
I think the camera slightly made it look like it was going to be more catastrophic than it was, because it looked like he was about to chop the rear end off of the car number 18, but didn't in the end. But it looked close, didn't it? Interesting racing lines. I think car number 18, Pierre, is under a bit of pressure here because he seems to be taking a lot more curb.
Of course, two quite different cars that you can treat in very different ways.
Still think that's a lot of curb.
Yeah, you can get away with quite a bit.
Bumpy curb.
I think you can get away with quite a bit here. The curves are relatively flat. That's a very defensive line going into the top of the hill at Portimão, though, that does rely on having a stable rear end to go over that curb and narrow the line under braking. But it is,
it's obviously not doing them that good, though, because car number 2 is closing in behind quite quickly. So whatever line he's taking at the moment, he's lost significant amount of time on that lap.
We did see Wilfried Casalbon yesterday was also all over the curve, especially here going into the final corner, which didn't seem to hurt him too much.
Won in the end. But there was a lot of battling. He could have won maybe cleaner and easier had he stuck to the racing lines.
Well, the track limits is the curbing rather than the white line here this weekend. So that's the problem with a racing driver. You get them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Which is usually why they don't do that.
Well, I was here again for another GT series a few weeks ago, and in one of the series, they had told the drivers, right, we're monitoring track limits at turns 1 and 4. So obviously then everywhere else on the circuit, they drove as far off the racetrack as they possibly could, right up to the gravel, and it made for quite a ridiculous spectacle for a day before they got a bit of a ticking off at the end of the first day of racing there. So battle for third continues with Morin piling on the pressure. But yeah, just going back to what we were talking about the circuit, and we talk about the roller coaster circuit being a spectacle for the drivers, also great for us to look at on camera as well. And it's in a real fantastic part of the world here as well. I think it's you can just see the beautiful scenery
nestled away where you wouldn't really expect it, isn't it?
We are in the little bit of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why we're quite grateful for the circuit hotel.
Yeah, one straight line on the main road, wasn't it, to get here? Basically, came out the airport, went straight for, what was it, 60 kilometres?
Something like that.
Yeah. It's a nice drive, but yeah, it is a bit located in the middle of nowhere, maybe. We were waving goodbye, weren't we, to all the holiday makers that were making their way to various hen do's and such on the way.
It's quite a popular location for such events.
Yeah, how many hen do's? And I think we saw 4 or 5 of them just in the line for passport control.
Yeah, they're always out here, especially this time of year.
Yeah, definitely. Good time to go on holiday, and also in the UK half term, so plenty of holiday makers coming down here, plenty of people coming as well to watch some of this racing today. And I would absolutely love it if I was nearby here to come and watch a bit of this racing throughout the weekend. It's pleasant temperatures out there now. It was a bit hot yesterday, I'm not going to lie. It's too hot for me. I'm not built for heat.
No, we're British.
Well, yeah, that. No, but some people love it, don't they? They're like, oh, I love the sunshine, but I don't like it when it's so hot. It was very muggy yesterday as well, so I'm glad to see that actually the temperatures have risen a bit today.
Now, bear in mind it was 15 degrees and raining when we left. When we left Gatwick.
Hey, look, we've had a lovely spring, so I'm not going to complain. It was just it was a little bit warm yesterday. It felt around 35 degrees, and it was saying it was only 33, but it was incredibly hot yesterday. So I'm glad for a little bit of respite for me as well, because I've got to be in the pit lane later. But I'm always so amazed when you see these cars in the pit lane and you feel the heat that is coming off them and the radiation that you get from just a car sitting there, and you think, goodness, how hot are these drivers really in these temperatures? Yeah,
a couple of drivers on the podium yesterday did look a little worse for wear. Also, they looked like they could use some fluids. Last time we came here, second visit to Portimão for the Ultimate Cup Series. Last time we came here, and I remember doing a grid interview for the Formula Cup, and my arm accidentally, while kneeling down to chat to a driver, grazed some bare carbon fibre.
Oh, ow.
So that had been baking in the sun for
a
few minutes, and I had to do my very best not to use every expletive on air.
Did you yelp?
I'm sure if you go back and look at the footage, you can see a little jolt and something like that. So Patrick Michelier making his way down the start-finish straight. It's great to have the Ferrari 296 challenge. This season it's the first time we've seen that car out in this championship, and of course replacing the 488, and it is a big step up from that 488 car. Obviously the smaller V6 engine compared to the 488, but still churning out around 700 brake horsepower. It's an awful lot to put under the right foot of mostly gentlemen drivers in their Ferrari Challenge series around the world. Of course, it's also used to find up-and-coming talent. Licio Dono, I remember being a young upstart that came through Ferrari Challenge Europe at that car. Eric Mouet has got going. Again, we saw him drop to the rear of the field. We didn't quite see why, but he is still going out there. And just getting his way back through the pack. So he's passed the two GT4 cars. He's got the GT4 leader, Lorenzo Monteiro, just in front of him. That 44 machine coming out of the CMR stable. Classic and modern racing. They've got quite a few programs at the moment. Remember if they're going to be racing at the Spa 24 Hours at the end of this month as well. But of course, known for running in the French GT and of course in Super Trofeu as well, and the official supplier in France of Ginetta machinery as well. Seen them running the G61 LMP3 car in the European Endurance Prototype Cup last year. So once again, this battle for third. Last time around, it was fastest lap of the race from Alexandre Gadouin, a 1:44.562. A second warning has gone out to Eric Mouet for track limits at turn 1 in 7th position. Pierre Macchi and Olivier Morahan are starting to close in a little bit on Stefan Perrin, who, despite doing a string of personal bests is being closed in on. Remember that Stefan Perrin will be out in Trofeu GT Endurance. With Seb Ligier and Paul Meyer. Eric Murray now up into 6th position, so he's cleared the GT4 leader, Renzo Monteiro. He and his teammate Jose Cartel have been racing in the Iberian GT Championship, the GT4 category. And they said, I was just chatting to them yesterday, they said they had a bit of a break until their next race, so came here. Of course, their local circuit, both Portuguese drivers, and well timed with our visit to the Algarve as well. And it's nice to see Lorenzo Monteiro back. Of course, his uncle Tiago is also racing in Trofeu GT Endurance with the GP Racing team in the Porsche Cup car this weekend as well.
Has to be said, yesterday's race was full of a bit closer racing, wasn't it? If you missed on that race, missed out, do make sure you watch it again. You can watch everything back on the YouTube channel for Ultimate Cup, and you can see all of our racing that we've got on there. As car number 18 still under massive pressure here from the UCS1 car behind, and seems to be a long battle going on between these two, and I wonder who's going to come out on top. Yeah, do make sure you join us later for 4 hours, of course, of GT Endurance racing in the Kennel Endurance series. Sorry, brain went literally dead as I looked at the screen then. Kennel GT Endurance, and then tomorrow we have the 6 hours of the European Endurance prototype, which I am buzzing for because last year it was quite a spectacle. So yeah, definitely lends itself well, this track, to endurance racing. So if you want to watch what kind of is classed as the main event, the 6 hours of the European Endurance prototype gets underway at around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So well worth tuning in for. And we've got quite a big field in that one as well. So plenty of good machinery to be watching over the whole weekend.
Well, there certainly is, and all of it, in fact, out on track at some point today. So as I say, just after this, there will be a practice session for both the prototype championships, the endurance and the sprint for the LMP3 cars. And then we have solid racing action throughout the afternoon, really. So the Ligier Formula Cup at 11:50, race 2 for that one was Hugh Barter who took the win yesterday. There are a couple of drivers behind him who are very eager to bridge that gap and mount a bit of a sterner challenge. Then we have lights out for the Kennel GT Endurance at 12:40. That's the 4-hour race with 20 cars, and quite a few new entries in that one as well, with the likes of Graf's Rossa LM GT car, which makes its first appearance in this championship, as well as TFT here with their Mercedes AMG as well. So looking forward to seeing how they get on. That is also followed up by the third and final race of the weekend for the Ligier Formula Cup, and then the third race for this championship, GT Sprint, at 5:40. Qualifying action to follow there for the European Sprint Prototype Cup, it's the LMP3 cars. And then for the European Endurance Prototype Cup set in the grid for the 6 hour, which we are very much looking forward to. And then rounding out the day, 8:15 will be lights out for the 4th and final race of Trofeu GT Sprint.
Action-packed day in Portimão, and yeah, it's good. It's going to be good. I'm particularly looking forward to the 6 hours tomorrow. I'll be in the pit lane for that one, bringing you the action from everything that's happening there. And in the Kennel GT Endurance, we've got some celebrities on the track as well, haven't we? And Sébastien Loeb and his partner. You're looking at me wrong.
No, Lorraine Godey.
I was literally like, I've got that championship right. Don't look at me like that.
Of course, David Hallyday making an appearance once again in GT Endurance as well in his Vision.
Not technically reigning champion, but is also in the reigning champion team because he missed out on one round due to commitments of a tour. I asked him how that was actually last time I saw him, because we hadn't spoken this season, and I said, "Oh, you missed the end of last year." And he said, "Oh, do you know what? I missed it so much."
I bet.
So much, because he was out on tour in various different areas of France. And so the team won the championship, but he was one of the only ones in the team, obviously, that didn't take home the trophy, so to speak, because he missed a round.
Yeah, it's Romain Iannetta who stood in for him at a couple of rounds last year. And actually, Romain is racing this weekend as well in the Novas, the Endurance Prototype Cup with Switch Racing. So very rare to see them both at a racetrack together, but forward to that nonetheless. 5-second time penalty has gone out to Eric Mouet in 6th position for track limits infringements at turn 1. I think as it stands, that won't affect him too much. It's nearly 8 seconds clear of Lorenzo Monteiro. Just under 3 minutes left on the clock. I promise you that Alexandre Gadouin is out there at the head of the field by nearly 25 seconds now. Battle for second in UCS4 still continues. Pierre Aru holding off Andre Seferitos. Seferitos second in class yesterday, managed to beat Pierre Aru. It will be back-to-back victories for the 58 crew, it looks like. And Jose Cartella took the victory yesterday. This is a great run out of the final corner here from Andre Seferitos. So he's in the slipstream, and the V10 Audi punching a hole in the air down the start and finish straight. 1 minute and 15 left on the clock. Should be going on to the last lap shortly, but the Audi seems to have quite good straight line speed, and the 981 Cayman lacking a little bit of that punch, and that really was the biggest complaint about this generation of GT4 Porsche. It was before they put the Cup car engine into that machine, the same 4-litre flat six that you find in the Cup car, which of course came in with the RS model of the 718. It looks like we'll squeeze one more lap out of Alexandre Gadouin. About 30 seconds left on the clock as he comes around the final corner. So it'll be one more tour of the Autodromo Internacional de Algarve. Track limits warning for Andrei Seferitos in his battle with Pierre Aru. Hopefully that won't decide the battle. Also means now one more lap for Olivier Morahan to try and get a foot on the podium ahead of Pierre Macchi. Stéphane Perrin has been doing a cracking job out there in that Seb Ligier run machine.
Final lap then. Clock has ticked down to nothing.
There is that second place battle. Spiritos dropped off the back of Aru on that lap, so hasn't quite been able to continue the challenge. Meanwhile, here is our race leader. Nearly 28 seconds to the good now over Stéphane Perrin in second position. So after Wilfried Cazalbon took victory in that number 25 car yesterday, it will be victory again for the Schumacher GP team and a first of the weekend for Alexandre Gadouin after a very dominant display in race 2 of Trophy GT Sprint. Second position here will go to Stéphane Perrin in the Seb Ligier Racing Porsche. It's another second place finish for that car. Nowhere near as close as yesterday's encounter though. Oh, has Stéphane Perrin got a problem, though, out of the final corner? Because suddenly Pierre Macchi, out of the final corner, just absolutely drove straight past him. Did Stéphane Perrin back off a little too early there? Has he got a problem? But either way, that means Pierre Macchi is second, and it's a Schumacher GP 1-2 finish then, with Stéphane Perrin getting over the line in third position ahead of Olivier Morahan. Here's Lorenzo Monteiro to take victory in UCS4. It's another victory in Ultimate Cup competition for Monteiro. Back-to-back for the driving squad. Patrick Michelier will come across the line in fifth position, that 296 challenge. He's got the that odd situation for him. He's got the race leader who is on his cool-down lap, but Patrick is still racing. Pierre Aru did get second in UCS4 ahead of Andrei Seferitos, so sort of returned the serve there because they were the other way around yesterday, and I think that means they're tied on points again. Checkered flag clearly didn't go out to Alexandre Gadouin there because he's driven over the line twice. Well, yeah, he must not have seen it the first time round, and that's why he wasn't quite cooling down on the cool-down lap. And so he'll be back to the pits a little bit later than scheduled. Pierre Aru and Andrei Seferitos. Pierre Aru drawing back level on points now with Andrei Seferitos. And that's going to be a championship battle all the way through the season. Results then from race 2. It is Alexandre Gadouin that takes the victory ahead of Pierre Macchi, who at the line beat Stéphane Perrin to second. Stéphane Perrin in third, Olivier Morahan in fourth, Patrick Michelier, Eric Mouet, Lorenzo Monteiro, Pierre Aru and Andrei Seferitos. Order. wait for Gadouard to make his way back into Parc Ferme. The rest of the cars making their way down there now. Pierre Macchi parked up. Stefan Perrin as well. Might be a little bit of a wait for Alexandre Gadouard, considering he did an extra lap in that race. Likely get a, well, at the very least, a slap on the wrist from race control for crossing the checkered flag twice, but hopefully doesn't affect the end result. You can see as well the prototypes making their way into pit lane because their second practice session is about to start. But hopefully we can hear from our race winner shortly.
Do you speak English? Yes.
There is Alexandre Gadouard out of the car and a shake of the hands, celebrations. So nice applause for him when he came in, and yes, the fluids immediately being gifted, which I'm sure will be very welcome after a sweaty stint like that. So a reminder, third race of Trofeu GT Sprint gets underway at 5:40 local time, which is CEST -1. In the same time zone as the UK here, so if you're watching across the rest of Europe, do remember to factor that one in. See Claire Cottingham going in for the kill and grabbing our race winner, but very kindly letting him take on some fluids first. We've got a soundtrack again on the racetrack, which is the various V8s of LMP3 and Nova machinery, but let's go down to pit lane and hear from Claire Cottingham.
Well, a brilliant weekend already for Schumacher GP. Welcome to the championship. What a brilliant time you guys have been having.
Yeah, sure. I discovered the car, the track, the championship, and we still managed to have a good pace here from the beginning of the weekend. And well, now you see the results. So yeah, I'm pretty happy for me, for the team. Everybody works very well. So yeah, great.
It's quite a competitive championship and you've already come in and dominated it. How have you managed to do this?
Well, actually, I have a pretty good experience in different cars, but the Lamborghini is finally pretty, not easy, but you feel confident in the car really quick. So it helped a lot to manage to get a good pace quickly.
Were you happy as well that it wasn't as hot this morning?
Yeah. Actually, I like hot weather, so it's okay for me. Now I'm a bit thirsty, but it's okay.
Well, congratulations. You've got a podium to get to.
So, sorry?
You've got to get to the podium now.
Sorry.
You've got to go get your trophy. Got to go have a podium.
Yeah, sure.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right, lovely. We're going to take a break here in Portimão. We've got more racing to come in a couple of hours' time. But as you can hear, there is practice on the track at the moment. We're not going to show you that, but more racing to come in a couple of hours' time. It'll be the Ligier Formula Cup.